So in today's video, we are going to talk about everything moving to Phoenix and how exciting it was for me and my family. And hopefully you can get some good tips on how you can make the move to Phoenix. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Brittany, and I am so excited to be here on YouTube and to get to share with you all of our tips and tricks and everything real estate and moving to Arizona, moving to Phoenix, Arizona. It was definitely a chore to figure out which city we were going to move into. So we'll definitely be checking out all that. I feel something licking my toes. It's my dog. So yeah. Are you moving to Phoenix, Arizona? Do you want to move to Phoenix, Arizona? Moving to Phoenix, well, actually moving anywhere out of state is definitely a chore. And the first thing that we did was check out YouTube for... So the first thing that we did was we visited Phoenix, Arizona. We weren't sure exactly what part of Phoenix, Arizona we were going to be moving to, but what we did was... it was a little unique situation because my husband's company was relocating us out here. So they paid for the flight and a hotel room for us both to come and visit, to check it out, to see if this would be the city for us. And it was a very fun experience. So literally for 2 days straight, my husband and I drove around Phoenix, checking out different areas, going to different restaurants, even checking out some of the neighborhoods during the night. We did watch a bunch of YouTube videos and looked up a couple of vlogs and blogs regarding Phoenix, and just learned all we can about the city and what it had to offer. And from there, we contacted a real estate agent, and they gave us an ideal of where are some family-friendly areas where they would suggest that we make the move to, which had, you know, a newer neighborhood, more outdoor activity for the kids, and then also for our dog. We recently, well, I guess it's been about 8 months now that we've had our Labradoodle Quinley. This has not been the best experience. First, I'm in the backyard, I step on a thorn, goes straight through the bottom of my foot, even though I was wearing sandals, but whatever, that's a problem we have to solve in the backyard. Then I'm here and I set up inside to finish the video, and Elijah's school calls me. Today's early day. I forgot to pick him up. So then I rushed over to pick him up. Then after I left, my wallet falls. All of my cards fall all over the street. So the three of us are in the middle of the street picking up the cards. Satan, get behind me. That's all I can say is Satan, get behind me. I have a goal today to finish this video. It didn't happen earlier today when I was outside, but it's gonna happen now. We visited Phoenix, Arizona, and got to know the area a little bit and checked out the schools. Our primary reason for choosing where we were going to live is schools. Gosh, my heart just hurts. My heart hurts because I'm sad that I forgot to pick up Elijah, and I can only imagine what was going through his head when I didn't pull up. But anyways, that's just my little mommy heart. I'm sure all you mommies and daddies out there know the feeling it is when you feel like you're not operating in your best. But anyways, I need to give myself some grace. So when we were trying to decide on where to move, we decided on this area because it's a great area to raise children. The school district is really good. The school that he goes to is only a couple years old. They have some pretty good programs there. Although at the time that I was thinking about schools, I wasn't sure if he was going to go to charter or public school or Christian school. So because we didn't know any of that, I'm just thinking worst case scenario, we need to live by a nice accredited public school. So anyway, so that's why we chose this area. So in San Diego, I researched a bunch of different moving companies so that we can try to start the process. I probably went through 2 or 3 different companies that between me and my husband, we both spoke to, and negotiating a price with everything that we were taking. I did find a pretty good company that we absolutely loved. So as far as the moving supplies, I did get a lot of moving supplies from OfferUp. In the past, I've used Craigslist, but I think Craigslist is a bit outdated now. I don't know. But we used OfferUp, and we found a bunch of free boxes from people who have recently moved to San Diego to where they didn't want to throw away their cardboard and it was still in good working condition. So we took it off their hands. That was pretty cool. We didn't have to spend that extra funds on moving supplies, which that leads me to my next suggestion is budgeting for moving, because not only did we have to pay for the movers, trying to come up with a date to move was also very stressful, because it was a date for us to come out of our lease in San Diego and for a date for my husband to start with his new position in Phoenix. And as far as the kids' schooling, trying to get that all taken care of and all of the extracurricular activities that they were in. So coming up with the date was pretty stressful. However, we did just kind of sit in the moment of moving, to try to enjoy the process and to lead our kids through the process. I do kind of feel like the process went by fairly easy because we spoke about it. We told my parents, we told my husband's parents, and before the decision was solidified, we just kind of prayed about it all together and would have reoccurring conversations until everyone kind of felt at peace with us moving out of state, because moving away from your friends and family is definitely heart-wrenching. As soon as we were thinking about moving, I started the process of decluttering. So from that day on, every room that I was cleaning weekly or daily, I would start to declutter. If it was some of the clothes that the kids barely fit anymore, I started to pack it up and label it and either donate it to another family that had a little boy or a little girl the same age as mine, or take it over to the Goodwill. The items in the kitchen, there was a bunch of Tupperware containers that we had that didn't have the matching lid. There was some decorations that were outdated that I didn't want anymore. Oh, and we also sold a lot of stuff on Mercari. So basically, we took a picture of it, posted it on Mercari, came up with the price. If it didn't sell by a certain date, then we were just going to donate it. That it was just one of those things that if it sells, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and we can just donate it. But that was a really good way to make some extra funds in the moving process. And since I was at home with the kids, I did have that extra time to declutter and to take those pictures. So that was a huge. So you want to make the necessary travel arrangements. We decided to purchase a van right before we were going to move, because with the distance of driving back and forth from Phoenix to California to visit friends and family, we knew that we needed a car that was a little bit more comfortable. And Quinley was a puppy, so we needed something that was going to work great for a growing family trip with my parents and a couple of my cousins. We rented a house over in Scottsdale, and we spent about 4 to 5 days there as me and Andrew snuck away to kind of make the final decision with which house we were going to choose to rent. Oh, that's another thing. We decided to rent before buy because we had no idea. I mean, we had a little bit of an idea of what we were getting ourselves into, but we just wanted to make sure that the neighborhood and the ambiance and the vibe was the vibe that we needed to raise a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. So yeah, that's a whole nother video, renting versus buying when you're moving out of state. So we went on a family vacation to Scottsdale, rented a house. My husband and I took several day trips away to sneak over to Peoria, which is the city that we chose to move to, and solidify the house that we were going to rent. So that helped out a lot. The fact that we had family out here to kind of help with the kids and help with the decision process. Necessary travel arrangements. My husband and I drove behind the moving company the day that we moved. The kids were at my parents' house. They stayed 2 nights there. They either stayed 1 night or 2 nights. They just stayed 1 night there because I dropped them off in the morning as my husband was there with the moving company as they got the car loaded. Then I came back, met my husband in San Diego. We hopped in the van to head over to Phoenix while we hopped in the van. We hopped in the van and followed the moving truck all the way to Phoenix. Once we got to Phoenix, the moving company unloaded everything. And as the moving company unloaded everything, I'm literally going through the boxes or cases. We got a bunch of cases from Costco. The yellow and black ones, the black bottoms with the yellow tops. I love them. After we packed up everything in those and unpacked it here, we use them for storage in the garage or storage in the closet. It looks really nice. Anyways, so I unloaded like the kitchen and started setting things up, and I started to get our bedroom together after my husband put the bed together and made the bed, got the bathrooms together. I pretty much wanted to take advantage of the fact that the kids weren't here and me and my husband just had that freedom to prepare the house the way that it needed to be prepared. So we stayed 1 night here. Then we took a flight back that next morning. And then once we got home, I hopped in the car to go grab the kids as my husband stayed at the house, made sure it was clean. Actually, no, I lied. No, we got back to San Diego. We both stayed there and we cleaned. We cleaned really, really good. We just always do that just to make sure that we get as much as the deposit back as possible. We know that the landlord will probably hire a cleaning company, but we're not slobs and we don't want to leave a bunch of mess for the next person. So we did clean out the fridge, clean out the drawers, and just do that extra step to make sure that we got the most back from our deposit. So after we cleaned, we got done late that night. We drove to my parents' house and we stayed there. We stayed there for about 2 nights. We stayed there 2 nights versus 1 because I just wanted my heart to be at peace with making sure that we were able to say our proper goodbyes to our family. That was, we were moving during COVID, and COVID's not fun. And I just needed to feel at peace with the whole situation. I needed the kids to be at peace and for that transition to go well. So we stayed 2 nights at my parents' house, then took the drive down to Phoenix and introduced the kids to the new house. That was a special experience. That was a special experience because we hyped up moving for so long, and to introduce the house to the kids was fabulous. And the kids' subscription or any type of bill that needed to be canceled, we canceled and arranged for our deposit to come back. And I did all of that prior to moving, just in case there was somewhere that I had to go to in person and handle any issues. We spoke to my son's school to make sure that they were aware that we were moving. I even got a transcript just to make sure that when he transfers to his new school, we had the right documentation for him. Vacationed out here in Scottsdale. And we decided on this home here. I did bring a measuring tape and I did measure out the living room to make sure that our couches were going to fit. And I took pictures just to get a visual of anything that we needed to take or leave behind in our old house. So I did go online and I forwarded our mail. I forwarded our mail about, I'd say, a good week before we arrived here in Phoenix. I started to forward our mail just because I wanted to make sure that nothing was lingering in San Diego, and so that the new renters in San Diego wouldn't get our mail. And I knew that this place here was vacant, so that it was okay that if mail landed here earlier. So since COVID was going on, we did arrange for a cleaner to come here and clean before we moved all of our stuff in, just because we know that the house was being shown and different people walking through. And I wanted to make sure that I was bringing my littles home to a safe environment. Finally finished the video. I got through all of the points that I wanted to talk about. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up, comment below. If you're thinking about moving, give me a call. I'll put my number down here or up here. Look, both places. Give me a call, give me a text, and let me know that you are interested in moving to Phoenix or moving to California. I have a pretty amazing team that I work with that we can get you onto the right start. Even if it's just a couple questions that you need answered, I am